Welcome, everybody. This is Two Tap Anime. I'm your host, Ashten. These are my two co-hosts, Jazz and Kenny. And Jazz, I'm gonna go ahead and let you say your intro once
Yeah,
again.
boy! Welcome to Two Tap, where we give our initial impressions on new and hot anime.
All right. So the two anime that we're gonna be talking about this episode are Major Second and A Certain Scientific Railgun. So we had a pretty interesting, catch-up time. We've been caught up with a couple of simulcast shows. We'll definitely be talking about that towards the end. But also, we ran into a very interesting predicament. We are wrapping up with all the simulcast for the summer 2020 season, which is a good and a bad thing for some people. We're going to get to that at the very end. We're going to be doing a different type of drawing because of that. So stay tuned if you guys are interested in that. So where do you guys want to start off today? Do you want to start off with scientific or major second?
I'm down
Open
for either
dialogue.
one. I'm
Open
down for
dialogue
either
between
one.
you. Jazz, I'm gonna let you pick.
Yeah, Jazz.
The pressure is on. Let's see.
I'm gonna
Which
let you
one had
pick, and you're gonna go first too. How about
Which
that?
one-
Let's go Major Second.
Okay, major second. So before Jazz goes ahead and starts talking about his opinions on that anime, I'm gonna go ahead and read out that bio one more time. So, Daigo is an elementary student whose father, Goro, is a professional baseball player. Inspired by his father, who was once a Major League Baseball player, Daigo started playing baseball with the Mifune Dolphins, a youth team. However, he was unable to live up to the expectations of being the son of a professional and he quit baseball after then less a year. Then, in the spring of his sixth grade year, Daigo's school welcomes a transfer student, Hikaru, whose father is Sato, a former Major League Baseball player and Goro's close friend. The fate of these two young men begins and they move forward. So,
That synopsis is literally the first two episodes.
honestly, yeah, I'm
Literally
glad someone put that. I'm glad someone put that in because that was in my notes. It really was like, wow, the bio literally was the first two episodes. We really know nothing. Like
Yeah.
you honestly could just skip watching the first two episodes. Completely honest, like you could just go into episode 3, reading the bio, and like would still be caught up.
Yeah, you know everything.
You would know everything, which is kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
But Jazz, you have the floor. Go right ahead, man.
I think it was bad. Sports animes they tend to go in like this direction, but after watching Haikyu, it just there's a bar that they have to meet, and none of them reach it. Unfortunately, doesn't make it a bad anime. It's just the way it's set up. I think maybe if it took place like in high school or something, because the dude is he's in 4th grade.
Yeah, he's like 4th.
Everything is just kind of minuscule, if that makes sense. Like the dude catches a ball, it's intense. It's you caught a ball, dude. Like
you're in the 4th grade, buddy. All right.
But I understand. Like he throws the ball and it bounces because he's a 4th grader. He just can't throw from the outfield to to the home plate.
Yeah.
Him and the other second, they're both not really good at baseball, and so it kind of makes for an interesting anime plot in that sense right there. Realistically, I don't think that would ever like happen, because chances are if you're the son of a professional baseball player, you probably have a lot of exposure to baseball, let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
And so that whole pressure thing, it makes sense. You're coming in and people are going to expect you to play well, and chances are you do play well. That aside, I can understand why he feels the way he does, like he's overwhelmed by the enormous shoes that he has to fill. And if he just doesn't meet up to it, it can it could hurt his feelings. I understand that, and I think that's why they had him at a young age as opposed to like high school.
It's a bit of a new twist. I'm not used to that. Definitely,
the show isn't particularly funny, but there are some good points here and there, like whenever his mom was trying to wake him up to go to the baseball game. my dude was like, no, he rolled over and started snoring, and she like cracked.
It was super relatable.
Yeah, you see the mom like pose as this like super nice lady, just like, oh yeah, everything's happy, hikidori, blah blah. We're all a happy family. And then, like, he refuses to get out of bed. He's like, I'm tired of your crap.
Like, he literally yanks him from, like, the depths of his bunk bed and just, like, destroys this kid and gets him dressed to go play this game.
And then, just to put a little more emphasis on it, I think they do a good job at, like, conveying how down he feels about not meeting up to expectations. his sister is really good too. So when he comes back home from practice and just sees her throwing perfect pitches, he's kind of like, "Dang, dude," you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's gotta be the biggest like just detriment, right? Just like, oh god, at least I can go home and get away from this, right? Comes home, right, and like immediately right there in the front yard, his sister's throwing just like, fastballs right down mid, like it's crazy. It's just like, man, I can't even come home and escape. I get this crap at home too.
hmm So I think they did a good job at conveying that. Another thing that they did a good job at is the whole rival tradition. I don't know what you want to call it, like the what it's just reoccurring in
Yeah,
anime.
it's especially with sports anime, you need a rival, you need someone to push you, right? And
hmm
that's the generic like an easy. I wouldn't say like that's a cop out, right? But it's a good focal point, and they use that.
And so like who rivals, the son of a major league player who can't play baseball? That doesn't make any sense. Like how are you going to do this? And so what they do is they add another son of a major league who can't play baseball.
Not only is it the son of just some kid whose dad went to the major leagues. No, it was the same son, or like it's the same player, right? His dad was on the same team as the main character's dad. Like they were best friends. They both won a World Series title together. Like
Yeah.
that's what makes it even. That was something that, like, sorry, completely hate to interrupt. This was a major plot hole that just like completely just like, wait, what? Right? So you're telling me these two kids, like, mind you, they had like hyped it up, right? Like, yeah, your dad, the pitcher, and my dad, the catcher, they were like best friends growing up. They even went to high school and played baseball there, and yada yada yada, right? And I'm like, how have you two not met yet?
Well, see, that's all right. So remember, Major Second is like a sequel, like Boruto is to Naruto. So Major, just
Right.
Major, the anime is literally their dads like going
Going through all that and going to the World Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I honestly didn't know it was a
I had a
continuation of a
feeling. I had a
series.
feeling.
Yeah.
I had a feeling it was that. But
Yeah.
that still doesn't answer the question that I have of why the two haven't met yet.
So the other thing is they talk about it that the dad, the pitcher, got hurt and isn't a pitcher anymore. He's hitting. He's a batter now. Right.
Right, and he went to like Taiwan.
Yeah, he's bouncing around. Like he was in Japan, he's bouncing around. They won the World Series. The only World Series that exists is the MLB one, the one here in America.
Right.
And there's a chance that the kid was maybe born here in the US or like lived a long time in the US. Like it talks about that, and he even speaks English like a lot in his in his dialogue. So I assume the reason they haven't met is because he's been living with his family like away from their hometown.
I can see the fact that like they haven't met in person, right? But regardless, I still think that at some point they would like know each other. Like there would be some like reference to, you know what I mean? Like the parents are that close to each other, right?
Yeah, I would assume so too, but I just kind of left it alone. It wasn't that big of a deal.
I mean, it was small, but for some reason to me, it was just like, it just ate me up. I was like, wow.
You also got to give us some leeway in the sense that as a professional baseball player, he's on the road a lot, right? He's hardly ever home, so he doesn't have very much family interaction. And when he is home, he probably doesn't want to talk about baseball.
That makes sense, but I gotcha. I'm gonna let you continue. Go ahead, Jess.
And that's pretty much it. The whole show is kind of I don't want to say slow pace, just a little bit too slow. I wish it would move along faster and progress a little more instead of like, man, this guy sucks at baseball. Next scene, man, this guy sucks at baseball. Next scene, man, this guy sucks at baseball.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get you're not gonna become a star overnight. They really emphasize like every time he went to bat, he just missed. Every time he went to like catch something, he missed. Or I think he caught one ball or something. Yeah,
he had like defense, but like he could never feel the ball.
He played well
right field.
But he just sucked. He just had a weak arm. He can't throw well, and he just
he knows a lot of technical things about baseball, right? But it's just that he can't necessarily perform them because he just sucks at baseball.
And so I think my biggest thing is I wish the first 2 episodes would have progressed a little more. The synopsis covered the first 2 episodes, like we already said that. I wanted to see a little more. I don't think it's a bad anime. I just can't put it on my list because like I said, there's that bar that Haikyu set. It's
for being a
high.
sports anime. Yeah, no, I agree with you. I have continued watching Haikyu. We're gonna get to that later on, but I agree with you in the sense that like that bar for like rivals, sports anime, and et cetera, right? It may have reached the expectations of the past, right? Or like maybe what Major was when it was released, but for right now, nah, dude. Like I'm gonna be completely honest. They had to like hit the ground running if they were going to go for an angle like this, and they didn't.
I feel that.
So I'm going to go ahead and go into my segment. First off, the intro, pretty generic. Like it wasn't anything that like I was like, big.
Speaking of the songs, I really like the outro. There was a song that they played. I believe it was in the first episode. It wasn't the intro or the outro, but it was like in the episode.
Yeah.
I don't remember that song, but whatever it was, I was really feeling it. Like that was a cool song. But also, yes, the outro is cool too.
Yeah, the outro's pretty cool, but like the intro is really bad. But also, I noticed he slid to first.
Oh, did he?
He slid to first.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. You'll see it from time.
It's very rare. I know, but like let's be real here.
And I wouldn't say it's very rare. I'd just say it's just you'll see it from time.
Second, he telegraphed the hell out of a bunt.
That happens too.
Like the whole point of a bunt is supposed to be it's to throw you off. It's a surprise. It's supposed to like
Not always.
But
not always.
Kenny. I know there's exceptions, but I'm going for the general rule and basis, right? Let's be real here. You wouldn't project a bunt that early.
About baseball.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely watch more baseball than I do, but we definitely watch baseball more than most people.
Oh, I think I watch more baseball than like 95% of people.
That I agree with that.
But like most bunts, just to get off on a crazy ass tangent, most bunts aren't the flashy like run to first. It's I'm holding this bunt. I'm gonna fucking bunt. I'm not trying to reach first. I'm trying to advance the other runners. That's what most bunts are. They're sacrificial. Especially in Japan. Especially in Japan. They play small ball like a motherfucker. Like only recently have they like started like actually like deciding to hit more for power than for like small ball purposes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now I want to go into the intro. Just it sucked. The animation is pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I had to find like a word for the animation, it'd be clean. Like it is very I would say like round and just like clean.
It's shiny for sure.
I don't know. It was kind of like it's very appealing to look at aesthetically, right? My major problems that I have with this. Jazza kind of touched on them, right? Is the fact that like the pacing is kind of slow, but I do like what they were where they were going with this angle, the whole psychological angle, right? With this kid, right? This kid's in the 4th grade, and he had like nothing but aspirations and dreams the entire time. He's like, I can't wait to play baseball. I can't wait to play baseball. I can't wait to play baseball. I'm talking like the moment he could play baseball, aka the 4th grade, right? He's like in there, and he's like, all right, I'm doing this. I'm practicing. I'm in there, right? And he has all these kids looking at him like, oh my God, like, wow, your dad won a World Series title. Like, how good at baseball are you going to be, right? And then, he's got to like, at first he was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, and then he just goes up there and he just will start making one mistake after another. And he just kind of snowballs into that because he hears them talking, right? And even if they aren't saying major things about him, right? It's like, the small comments just like eat him up, and he just eventually stops, right? Now it's 2020. We need to stop the glasses shining trope, okay? Like we need to stop this. That needs to die. All right, that's like 2007.
I will see a problem.
That's never gonna die.
Oh my God! Like for me, it's
look, Ashten. As long as titties bounce in anime, glasses shining will always happen.
God, he does it every 2 seconds. The rival will always do the eyeglasses shimmering thing every
As
2 damn
long as
seconds. Oh
titties
my
bounce
god.
in anime, the glasses shine will always exist.
So to be completely honest, for me, I understand that it's a trope and it's an anime thing. It's gonna be around, whatever, right? But like I said, this kid did it an obnoxious amount of times, and he was only in the second episode, I think. He was only in the second
Yeah,
episode, I think. He was
only-
introduced in the second episode. So all of his airtime that he had, this dude was literally like, I'm like, damn, just tape your shit to your forehead, apparently.
Actually.
Right, exactly. He was, God, that annoyed me. But I'm just nitpicking at this point, right? I had a good time watching it. It was enjoyable. It's very B-list anime, right? It's one of those, like, you're caught up with everything. You've already watched all your stuff, and if you're really into sports, I feel like that you would have a good time watching this, right? But with a lot of the simulcasts that we've recently watched, and a lot of the simulcasts that I want to catch up to and finish, it's not going to be one of those contenders for me. However, I do feel like if you are just a sports nut, if you do enjoy, stuff like that, this is very vanilla. It's very, kind of turn your brain off, watch baseball, like, have a good time. I think this is for you. I think you're going to have a good time. But yeah, in terms of like a real big hook, it doesn't have that because, like we said, the bio takes care of that for you. You know what you're getting into. But that's really all I have to say. I mean, the sister's a really cool character. I think I liked her the most, honestly, just because
She broke his DS, man.
Yeah, that's terrible.
He should have caught it.
Yeah, he should have caught it, bro. He should have caught it. He should have been a good baseball player and caught that DS before she smacked it, bro. I'm just saying.
She didn't smack it. She grabbed it and then she tossed it back at him. But it kind of
he didn't catch it. Yeah, he butterfingers, bro. Butterfingers.
He didn't catch it.
I
got a few things to say.
Yeah, go ahead, man. Go right ahead.
Real quick. It's like I said, I don't really have too much on this. It's definitely aimed at children. I don't think this one's aimed more towards like older population, other than the psychological aspect that the kid went through, right? But like all the stuff is like we call it vanilla, but like I feel like it was just geared towards like, I'm a dad that has a kid that's interested in baseball, and we also watch anime. So this is what we're gonna watch.
This is a very niche demographic, apparently.
This is what we're gonna watch, right? Like my kid watches Pokemon. I like baseball. I have a child. Let's spend some quality time watching a baseball anime.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. I do think this is a very like vanilla anime.
And the one thing Jazz mentioned, they are like grade school kids. Like the kids like in 4th grade.
No, well, initially, and then now they're in like 6th grade. I think Okay, so the current season, the simulcast season, is like them in high school now.
Oh.
So it's a progression from him going from like middle school, right? Well, actually, obviously, elementary school to high school, and trying to get like in the big leagues, I'm assuming. So that's where the simulcast comes in, right? So we're catching up, right? I'm pretty sure this came out like, a couple years before then, obviously.
All I know is based on these 2 episodes, I'm not watching it.
I agree with you. I'm not.
It's nice. It's okay. It's like, it's fine. It's just not for me. Like, I've watched baseball anime. Like, if you want to watch a good baseball anime, watch Ace of Diamond.
I've seen it.
Or Diamond No Ace. Watch that. But don't watch this if you want a good baseball anime. Watch this if you want a good wholesome plot that has a lot of baseball in it.
Hell, maybe even watch Major.
Like, when you want a cake, right? And they make it into the shape of a baseball. It's like, oh, it's a baseball cake. No, it's a cake that's happened to be shaped like a baseball. This is an anime that's happened to shape like a baseball. This is like a really slice of life. Like,
I like cake.
Me and my buddies.
Yeah.
We play baseball. It's like The Sandlot, right? The movie The Sandlot. It's just a bunch of dudes hanging out, and their choice of activity is playing baseball.
It's I think we've said all that we've wanted to really say about it. It's not bad. We're not saying because we're not continuing it doesn't mean that it's bad, right? It's just
not.
we have a lot more on our plate, and because of that, and because there's so many other hard hitters, haha. Now, God, it just every time I make a baseball pun, you guys just need to
No.
no. But
I keep
we
a
have
mental checklist.
we have so many other like simulcasts this season that are really just hitting the mark, and you can watch those. Right.
Yeah.
So I would probably spend more time with them before I even come anywhere remotely close to this. If to be fair though, I haven't watched any baseball or any sports anime, right? And I would hate for this to be my first one. I feel like this might be one I come back to, but I don't know.
Just keep watching Haikyu, dude. That's all.
Yeah.
That's it. Just keep
That's where it's at. Not a single ad can stand up to this.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Anchor.fm.
You don't know what that is?
You do now.
Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. In fact, we use it for this one.
They let you record and edit with many helpful tools right from your computer and phone.
Personally, I like that Anchor distributes your podcast to all the big streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and even Google Podcasts.
So you can leave all the hard work to them and have more time to catch up with the waifus.
Lastly, for all you business tycoons out there, you can make money from your own podcast.
It's all you need to get started making it in one place.
So grab your friends and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
That is ANCHOR.FM. Anchor FM. Now, we're gonna immediately go into the second anime that we watched for this week, and that was A Certain Scientific Railgun. So, the bio for that one is, if you haven't caught up or if you're not familiar with it, is Misaka's electrical manipulation abilities and delightfully destructive railgun projectile move make her a rock star in Academy City. The techno metropolis is packed with supernaturally powered student known as Espers, including Misaka's flirty friend and roommate, Kuroko. In a city full of superpowered gangs, mad scientists, and monsters, there's no shortage of action. It's funny that the anime says that, or the bio says that, but the first two episodes really didn't have too much action. But it's an opinion that I have. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Jazz open up for us, and go ahead, my mans.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna start off with something I like. I like Railgun. That being said, I don't like anything else.
Dang. Okay.
Nice.
The whole show is just like, if they had more action, I think I'd be a little more drawn into it, because the action that they did show was really good.
Fucking phenomenal, dude.
Like, you feel it, dude. She does her railgun trick, and I'm just like, oh, right. I was hoping it'd be a little more impactful. Like, she flipped the car, and it just kind of, you know.
Well, she was holding back. Like, she was holding back.
You wanted like fucking Marvel level damage.
Oh, dude, yeah. I wanted like the coin to fly through the car and like leave a gap. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, she's trained to control it. She's trained to control like, you know, her electric ability, right? And she knows that she's like, I need to stop this guy. He can't get away. Also, there are a bunch of people around me. I can't like go all out.
With her ability as well as like her aggressive nature, I would say just her whole personality was like, as soon as her friend, I don't even remember her name, that's how insignificant these people are. Kuroko. As soon as her friend got kicked in the face, she was like, hold up,
no, that was my
turn. You know, and I was like, I feel that they took a little too long to get to it, right? She was like, Kuroko, it's personal now, you know, like they could have skipped all of that. She could have just stood up and been like, yo, it's on.
Yeah,
it's on like Donkey Kong, man. Let's go.
It was.
I think, like, she's a cool character. The whole, like, she doesn't want to wait for judgment to show up for her to whoop some dudes, right? Mm-hmm. I like her, but
MC, 100%.
Yeah, the rest of the show is just like hard to watch. Her roommate reminds me of Kazuya, to be honest. It's so incredibly like bad.
It's hard. It's for somebody that's like so prominent in the show. It's like, I wish you were just toned down. Like, you're at an 11, great. Let's bring you all the way to a fucking 0. How about that?
Yeah. No, you know what? Let's just. Now, I agree with you, man. Like it was at an 11, like with her constantly, bro. And yeah, I'm gonna let you keep going though.
There's not much to say about the show. I like they set it up pretty well, right? Everything's in levels. You got from level 0 to level 5. Level 5s are like the prodigies and everything, and that's what she is. She doesn't act like someone who's a level 5, because the way that they were talking about it is like they all look at themselves as they're above everyone else, and like I
Right.
said, I already told you I like her as the main character. This just kind of adds to that. What else? Though, so the world that they live in is kind of like an advanced civilization. Just that city, right? 2.3
Right.
million is what they said, and I think that's cool, right? The whole idea of getting these not unique people, because they didn't say a whole lot about the world, but my assumption is there are multiple people around the world who can do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Just not that to that degree. And so it's kind of like a hero academy. I hate to put it that way, but it's like a hero academy.
It's
And so they have this like little civilization where they gather special kids together, and then even amongst those people, there are people that try to do wrong things. There are wrongdoers there, unfortunately, and so they have the judgment crew, which comes in, takes care of them. The whole setup is nice, right? I think it has the potential to do incredible things. It's just within the first 2 episodes, it really did not focus on those things. It focused on
it put all of that cool world building stuff in the back burner and focused on stupid
They're
shit.
like, here's the really weird roommate that knows some other people, that bring them in. Like it's kind of like you need to know these characters. Let's just throw them in somehow. Like the two side girls. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I got their. Hold on. I have their names because I had like a quick little like note section about all of them.
Level 1 and the level 0.
So, Haru is the girl with the flower crown. Then you have Misaka's the railgun. Then you had Kuriko, which was the teleportation girl, and then you had Saten, which was the level 0.
Okay, so the main character and her roommate Kuroko.
Yes.
They make sense in the story, right? Mm-hmm. The other 2 girls, they might be important later on, but the way that they were just thrown into this, it was like, we have no way to make them important, so bam, here they are. And they could have done a way better job. It was just really bad.
Haru was, I felt like, the only like side character that was kind of justified, right? Because like Haru was like, okay, she worked for like the intelligence, like she wasn't a strong esper, right? But she was really good with like being like the comms people for the justice crew or the judgment crew, right?
Yeah, she's part of judgment.
She's part of judgment, and she's the guy in the chair, the hacker voice, like I'm in, right?
Horn.
Peter Parker's best friend. She's Ned. She's Ned, right?
She's Ned. Yeah, she's Ned.
So, and she works very closely with Kuriko, and Kuriko is sisters or roommates with the level 5, and there's only 7 level 5s that we know of, right? And she's apparently like the 3rd best,
rank 3.
She's rank 3 out of 7, which is like you're already like, wow, okay. So, mind you, those are details that I really focused on because that shit was really interesting, like Jazz had mentioned. But so you had this Ned who was like, oh my god, this person, you're roommates with them. Can I meet them? Like I want to meet them, right? And for some reason, she's with her friend when she's like, I'm gonna go introduce myself to this person that I really want to meet that works for a judgment, right? You should come with me. That way I'm not nervous. And that was how they were kind of thrown in there. But like I really feel like after that point, it was kind of like, they just kind of kept putting them there. There was literally
I think it makes sense, right? But I think they could have done a way better job of like them meeting and becoming friends, because it just looks like they were just thrown in. Yeah, honestly, they could have said they were childhood friends, and so they know each other. That probably would have worked better, to be honest.
I agree with you, sort of, right? Because like for me personally, like I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. The connection kind of clicked, right? It made sense, but was it done well? No. I think that's where we're at. But it's where I'm at personally. It made sense how they did it, but doesn't mean that it was done well.
But yeah,
Keep going, man. Yeah.
all that being said, you know, the whole Hangzhou Spark thing, I can see that. Like, it's kind of cool, to be
man.
honest.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, this made me more of a Hangzhou Spark fan than anything.
Yeah, so Hangzhou Spark originally, I know I touched on this last time. They wanted to be named Railgun, and they had the whole Mikasa silhouette as the logo.
Right.
Like how if you can picture the Spark logo right now, it's just like the hand with Spark written underneath. Instead of the hand, it was like all of Mikasa and Railgun. That's what they wanted originally.
Yep.
But they got shut down due to copyright. But now
she's
3 years later, 2 years later, she's like now an official mascot for the team. So
that to me, that's like chef's kiss, like the perfect, you know, like ending, like the homage, like they got it, like ladies and gentlemen, we got them, like
we did it.
that's so cool to me, right? That it was there, like they did it, we were here, poggers. But yeah, I kind of like the fact that I was able to finally sit down and watch the inspiration to that, and that was a major. But that also kind of hurt this show in a way for me personally, right? Because I had somewhat of a really cool expectation for it. And to be completely honest, these first 2 episodes just didn't come anywhere close to that.
Yeah, the expectation higher than what the show provided, at least the first 2 episodes.
Yeah. Anyways, you were wrapping up about the second episode, I believe.
Oh, that's pretty much it. Like, they introduced a guy very briefly, but then he dips and we know nothing about him.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's important in the future, but I was kind of curious about that. But yeah, the action, I wish there was more action, right? The way that they portrayed it was so good. I wish there was more of that. I wish it didn't focus on the weird roommate. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Intro, not so good. Outro, all right. That's we're getting somewhere. That outro was pretty cool. But like the outro was like that really cool chill vibe. Like I'm always gonna talk about the music, by the way, just because I like the. For me, a really big part of the anime is the intro and outro, man. Just because. How many times do you hear the intro to Colors, or how many times do you hear the intro to, you know, The World, or how many times like you're like, oh yeah, like I'm into it, right? But that's why I talk about intros, and I don't see this one being like a, I don't know, like it's not a banger.
I forgot one point that I wanted to make.
Go ahead.
There was a really funny moment where they were fighting in the academy, and then the teacher came out.
Dude, I'm so.
She snapped her neck, and I was like, "Go!"
Yeah, so I'm gonna give some backstory for some people who haven't seen this, right? So they're in this academy with a bunch of kids who have superpowers, right? And you don't know anything about this dormitory or the student life there, except for the 2 girls get into an argument and they start using their superpowers, right? And they blow out the door, and all of a sudden one girl like gets really like she's like really into this fight, and then all of a sudden she just stops, and you're like, wait, what? And the other girl kind of turns around and looks, and there's like, the dean of the dorms, right? She's just like, oh, so we're using our superpowers in the hallways now, kind of, and she just, well, that you're not allowed to be doing that. And they're like, oh yeah, sorry, and she just like picks up Kuroko and just like snaps her neck and just throws her. It's like, all right, punishment time. And it's like, what? we're just gonna completely ignore the fact that she just snapped this poor child's neck and is like going to the next one. It was that was the best joke in that entire 2 episodes. Oh my god, that was. Whoever did that joke, whoever animated that scene or pitched it or what, they need a promotion just based off of that. They need to get their own storyboard. Just 10 out of 10.
All right.
So for me, I have a lot of the same grievances that you mentioned, right? Which was they had like really good world building initially, right? They had set up the framework of this city. They set up the framework of these espers. They set up the framework for this academy. They set up the framework for this judgment crew, right? And then they also had, the main character, they had her stop these gangs, these thugs with her power. And then later on, you see nuggets of it, like when they're all, testing their abilities for the start of the new year, right? And they're testing to see how good people are and what level they are. and you just see this explosion at the pool going off, and it's like shaking the entire academy. And it's like, what's going on over there? Oh, they're testing her by the pool, but they actually need a buffer because if they don't, she'd probably like level half the school or something.
Yeah, destroy everything.
And she's just shooting lightning and just going crazy, and you're just like, whoa, right? It's interesting. That stuff is cool, right? Because it's showing that, you know, there's something there. It's setting rules for this universe, right? And it's interesting you, it's baiting you, right? But then it just drops them. I don't know, man. It's really weird. It's like you go to a restaurant and you see at the window display all this amazing food, right? And you're just like, whoa, what's this, and this, right? And they have like a fancy kitchen in the back, right? You walk inside and it's like, no, we don't sell. No, that's we don't sell food here. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No,
They have a Big Mac.
It's like, I mean, you want some chicken nuggets, and like, I don't know, right? Now it had so much potential that anytime there was action in this series, it like delivered, man. Like, you know, we mentioned, like Jazz had mentioned before, right? This girl was semi-passive. She was letting the judgment people take care of everything, right? But the moment, like, you know, a hostage came into play, right, and her friend was, you know, put in danger, she just like, all right, I'm in. You know, like she just got up and was like, this is personal now, and she just levels a car, you know, flipping a coin, and you're like, wait, what? Right? But then episode 2 focuses on her dumb roommate who is like romantically in love with her, and also very uncomfortable because, mind you, these girls are like in middle school.
Yeah, they're middle school girls. They're not high school girls.
They're not
college
high
girls.
school.
No,
they're in middle school. They're doing like panty thieving, upskirts, like lingerie try-ons. They're doing aphrodisiacs. And you know, it's like, these are kids, and I'm just like, this is.
I just want to really quickly point out, yes, it's terrible. But the joke with the delivery guy delivering computer parts for the
Computer parts.
Fucking hilarious.
that was funny.
So the roommate orders like an aphrodisiac, and she's gonna trick, you know, the main character into drinking it, right?
Yes, that's middle school girls do.
Right. So they're all, yeah, as middle school girls do, apparently.
Yeah.
So all these girls are in this room, and all of a sudden the doorbell rings. Like, oh, I have a package here for, you know, da-da-da. It's like, oh, what is it? Computer parts. And it like cuts to the girls. Like, hell yeah, that company's smart enough. They wouldn't label all the packages. I ordered a discreet packaging, right? And then it's like, okay, what's the company? Oh, Love and Herbal Aphrodisiacs Ltd. What's the point of having discreet shipping if you're not going to discreet ship your you know, your publisher title or whatever? It was you know, jokes like that landed. I mean, that was funny, but I think my major problem, right, was that it was the same joke hammered for like 30 plus minutes, because it was like the tail end of episode 1, right? Where we had like the dumb joke that the roommate is super in love with the main character. And then it was all of episode 2.
Yeah.
It was the same joke. It was just very hard to watch. And not to mention, it was very uncomfortable to watch, because incredibly uncomfortable to watch, because, you know, like we said, they're like middle school girls, and you're just like, I don't know how I feel about this, right? Now, granted, it's all specified and condone, or like, you know, with one character, but it's that one character affecting all the other characters, so by proxy it's all of them, right? So I had a bad time with the first 2 episodes, but with that said, though, I think I'm going to continue, mainly because the show has such a reputation, and not only that, but like those gems that shone through with the action and with the judgment and with this academy, and like with that random dude that you mentioned and the 7 level 5 espers. I want to get to that. I have a feeling this show has a really bad start, which should be, you know, like held accountable towards it, right? But I want to give it a little bit more of like a shot to, right. I'm gonna, like, you choked in your first bat up. All right, let's I'm gonna let you play one more time before we bench you. All right, let's go in there. Kenny, is there anything else?
I would say, out of curiosity, I want to continue it because I do think that it could become a good show, right? It has potential. That action, dude, it was so good.
Right.
Mikasa is just such a cool character, to be honest.
100%, dude.
And I want it to do well, right? I probably won't I won't continue it like immediately, but dude, if I don't have anything to watch, for sure, like I want it to do well. It looks like it has that potential.
I'm not excited to continue it. That sucks though, because I want to be excited to continue it, but I'm not.
So for me, you guys kind of basically touched on all the points that I had for it. It does have like the roommate really like sexualizes a lot of things, and it's really uncomfortable. Honestly, it's super uncomfortable to watch that stuff.
Oh yeah,
but it does have like where it shines. Like it has those nuggets where it's like you're right there. Show you're right there. You have the ingredients. You just like me, just fucking up the recipe somehow, right?
right.
Like you got the right ingredients, you got everything you would want, but something's getting fucked up. You got the heat on too high. You're not stirring, at a consistent rate or something like that. Like
You got a couple eggshells in the batter. Like
you might have there's little things that like, but for the most part, it is this roommate. This roommate character is
really dragging the show.
It's just way too much, man. Like
sandbagging, reported.
Like, honestly,
she's hinting. She's throwing.
Like she needs to they need to just dial her down a little bit. Give the Railgun girl more room to fucking operate.
Yes.
And just more action. Just let her fucking blow shit up, man. Just let her blow shit up. And I'm gonna also continue it in hopes that like she blows more shit up. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah.
But if this roommate, like if episode 3, this roommate is still out here being outlandish, I'm out. I'm all the way out. You guys can have that.
I don't blame you. And it's more of a like the joke can still be there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the fact that the joke was there for too long,
mm-hmm.
and they did it for too many times, and it made it unfunny. Now here comes the issue with like it was funny,
mm-hmm.
but because you keep bringing it up, you keep doing it.
Well,
it's ruining all the good work that you've done with it.
This one specific joke was never funny for me. With the whole roommate being in love with it, it was never funny for me. The other parts of the show were funny. Like her getting her shit snapped. That shit was fucking hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And there was other funny parts too. I can't remember them off the top of my head.
You go waiting in line for the frog. Like, oh my god, who would wait in front of a line of 100 people just to get a frog mascot? She like holds her bag up. She's got the frog mascot, right?
And not just that. Also, her being in line and being the very like having the jazz look where
101.
The first person
get the mascot.
Yeah, she was 101, and I was like, that's like it was expected. Like I totally saw that coming, but it's still funny. It was still funny. They have the ingredients. It's all there. It's all there. You just
fucking roommate, dude.
Just turn the heat down a little bit. Cook it a little slower. You got it. It's right there. This one roommate needs to calm the fuck down, dude. That shit wouldn't fly with me and my friends. I would not let you guys be like that to anybody. Fuck that. I would punch you in the face.
I really hope episode 3 and 4 deliver, because like I'm gonna give it like 3 and 4 to deliver, right? And I feel like it does. And because of those like gems and because of those moments, the expectation is there. But like I had mentioned before, I'm going to continue, but I'm not excited to continue because there's a little twinge of fear in me that I'm going to subject myself to another 22 minutes of that fucking roommate, and it's going to be miserable.
See, that's the difference between you and me. If minute 4 is her talking about fucking lingerie and being like, I'm in love with you, let me bend you over, I'm out, dude. They literally like no exaggeration, no joke, like that one scene where there were like just a bunch of lingerie, like literally listing different types of lingerie. I was just like,
can we stop?
this is not like I don't know many middle school girls, right? Or any actually, but I doubt they talk about that sort of thing. And if they do, I doubt they own that sort of thing, right?
It was just, it's like gross lowly fetish, like, you know what I mean?
It was pretty gross.
Fetish bait, yeah. Like, it was terrible.
Yeah, you know, it sucks. It sucks.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it. You really do. But if it tones that stuff down, I think I'll definitely enjoy it.
Give us more action. Give us more action, please.
Just let her bang, baby. Just let her. Yeah, let her
flip a coin and flip a car again.
Yeah.
You could give me a car that's red. I would be like, hell yeah! Like, just I don't care.
I got you, Ashton. Just throw in a tournament arc. Let's go.
Dude, make the Espers fight. I'm in.
Just throw in a tournament arc. Fuck the plot.
Dude.
For the complete opposite reason of God of High School, just throw in a tournament arc.
Let's go, baby.
I got all the backstory I need. Give me the fights.
Let's go. Ejectocito.
Give me the fights, baby.
Nah, dude, I'm not going to be 101 in that line, dude. I'm going to be number 1. No, there's no... I'm not going to let myself let that happen. If that's a tournament arc, woo.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we surprisingly went through those two, episodes, or those two animes pretty quickly. To be completely honest, the expectations weren't too high, but they definitely didn't deliver, which is really disappointing. Yeah. I feel like this is somehow, in my opinion, worse than episode 2 with the shitty animes that I picked up, because at least we knew that we were expecting those to be bad. We were expecting them to be good, and
yeah, these are definitely disappointing. The ones
I feel like this hurts a
like
little bit
Peter
more.
Girl and Monster Girl Doctor. I went into it just like, in fact, real quick, if anything, I was happy that Peter Girl was only like 15 minutes long, because I was like, oh my god, I'm out. Let's go. Let's go. I can go watch Rent a Girlfriend, right?
Speaking of which, we're going to go ahead and go into our third segment where we're going to talk about our continued shows.
Real quick, Jazz, did you watch the recent Rent a Girlfriend?
I have not seen it.
Oh, this hurts. Oh, this hurts. Okay, but here's the thing. This is kind of good though, because Rent a Girlfriend has one more episode left for this simulcast season.
Does it? I know SNAFU has.
It only has one more. SNAFU also has one more.
Yeah.
So we can save the big climax finale for both SNAFU and Rent a Girlfriend for next week, because next week is also going to be a very interesting week because the drawing is going to be different. We're going to get to that right after we're done talking about these continued anime. I know Kenny and Jazz, you're going to be talking a lot about Haikyu. I didn't continue Haikyu. I only maybe watched 1 or 2 episodes more.
Was caught all the
right. So you've watched a lot more. The show that I ended up continuing this week was God of High School. Now, I do want to talk to Jazz about that because, okay, I'm still upset with the show, but I'm having a good time watching it.
That's right, you are.
Because, okay, let's once again, it's a tournament, and I'm sucker for tournaments, and these fights are fucking phenomenal. And God, it's so cool to watch them. They're so good, right? And for me, that's really carrying the show. The thing that really, and it still bothers me, right? They're getting into these backstories, and these backstories are really cool for these characters, right? Kenny, are you going to continue God of High School? Can I just
I might, but I don't care for spoilers.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna go for spoilers. I'm gonna go ahead and start talking about some of the characters and some of the character arcs, the things that I really liked.
How deep are you?
So I just finished the preliminaries. So I'm only a couple episodes. I think I'm on episode 6. I just finished 6.
Okay.
So I'm going into episode 7, and they're currently on episode 12 or 11, I think, at this point. So I'm halfway caught up to where they are currently. Now, they finished the preliminaries in Seoul, and of course the main character is the the overall victor, but the things that happen that get to that point are really, really interesting, especially when they were touching more on the backstories of these characters. I was enjoying that a lot more, surprisingly, right, than some of these random tournament fights. I think what hurt the show at the beginning was the random tournament fights, right, that didn't involve people, and not only that, but like there was no like backstory to any of these characters and investment, right? Like when we started talking about Han, the dude who knows karate, is super quiet. We learn about his backstory. His arc was that was phenomenal. That was done so well. In a weird way, I was definitely rooting for him way more than I was the MC, because holy crap, that dude went through so much, right?
Yeah.
So Kenny, to catch you up, he has a best friend from high school who is in the hospital, and I'm assuming it's with cancer.
Yeah.
Like I'm assuming it's cancer. Now he gets into this tournament and he's like, whoa, wait, with these nanomachines, they could fix my buddy. What the heck, right? But regardless, they kind of start hinting at things like that, and they go into first the Sword Girl's backstory, right? Because the whole reason she's in the tournament is because she wants to carry out that moon style art, right? That her father gave her, right, or passed down to her. Now this dude shows up halfway through the tournament, right, and is like, hey, I'm a famous swordsman, yada yada yada. Like he's got a lot of pull. He's like, if you marry me right now, I'll make your moon style. I'll make sure that it's like everywhere. It's a global. So she's immediately put up with her predicament, like, I can just drop this tournament. And she does. And like there's the friendship arc, right, of getting these three together, and like, or these, two or three guys, like, hey, this is a bad idea. You shouldn't do this because this isn't what you want. I mean, it's what you want, but it's not the way that you want to do it, because you're not gonna be bringing the moon style. It's gonna be some dude that you don't know, that you don't care about. Yeah. So the friends kind of come together and they snap her out of this like weird fixation that she had, right? And that was pretty cool, right? I still feel it was a little bit like, yay, power of friendship kind of thing, but like it was still good. It was still done well, right? Now Han, on the other hand, his story was done phenomenally well, where he has this best friend who really kind of like pushed him out of himself and made him like start caring in general, right? And then he gets cancer, and then this tournament comes up, and he's like, oh, I can save my friend. But then his friend starts dying in the middle of this tournament, so now he's like put in this predicament of like, oh man, my friends are in this tournament. And then the tournament head's like, hey, listen, I can make you a deal. If you really excel in this, then we'll put the nanomachines in your body, that way he'll last through the tournament, right? But you just gotta you gotta win, right? And if you don't, we'll knock him, like we're gonna take him off, right, kind of thing. Because they want to beat there's like some overarching like plot line where the commissioner wants to really test the main character. What is his name again? I feel so bad.
Gene Mori?
Yeah, Gene Mori. So he wants to keep testing and pushing the MC to like lose, to see if he'll actually lose. So he even pits his best friend, right, at this time, like against him, and it's like, hey, like I really want you to like give your all, right? And so this guy's like, okay, like I'm going all in. Like I know you two, we're friends, but me and this guy, we go way back. I'm gonna like do what I need to do to make sure that you two I'm beating the shit out of, and I'm gonna win this tournament.
Yeah.
For me, that was what I needed. Episode 1. They needed to do something like that for at least one of these characters, episode 1. That way I had a reason to root for them. They didn't need to pace that out so late on in the show, right? That's something that I still have an issue with. Is another thing is they don't set like a weird standard for the world.
What do you mean?
There's no like universal rule or boundary kind of like setting up the magic or the fighting or whatever in this world, right?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
So like let me give you an example, right? So alchemy in Full Metal.
Right.
From episode 1, they established the rules, what you can do with alchemy, what it is, what people do with it, right? So you understand and you know what these people can do or what the powers are for that universe, right?
Yeah.
So the issue that I have with God of High School, right, is the fact that at first it's like these dudes just punching each other and it's like normal martial arts. Then some dude starts coming out here with, you know, hurricane kicks and is literally summing up storms. And I'm like, okay, so maybe there's like a, so okay, they don't go into the explanation of how we're supposed to do that, right? Then on top of that, they start introducing stands. Like, what? No, like they start. No, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Like, there's literally at one point, right, where like Jin gets disqualified, right, because he interfered with that dude's round, right? And the commissioner comes up with an idea. Is like, okay, if you fight one of my, you know, other commission or the head of the tournament is like, if you fight one of my commissioners and you beat him, it's in a handicap match, then I'll let you participate in the tournament again, right? So Jin completely like disrespects this dude in front of everybody. And like the whole point of the match was you all you have to do is knock him down and you win. And like he goes, go, and right as soon as he goes go, he knocks him down. It's like, oh, take off your glasses. And like he completely disrespect. The dude gets pissed off and he summons a giant fucking like Grim Reaper thing and starts like, and he summons a kaiju and just picks up the
Fucking
MC and is
kaiju.
like, man, fuck you, right? And I'm like, where did this come from, right? Where did he legit pulled up like?
I'll say this: this show really, like where you're at. I think you're just short one episode. The show really takes off afterwards.
Like I no, dude. Then they start bringing in the occult, and I'm like, okay, what is like? I'm having whiplash, right? Because I'm being pulled into so many different like story arcs and developments, right? This fucking universe just won't sit us down and say, okay, in the ancient art, there's Ki. Ki can summon up the elements, and when you use certain martial arts, it'll let you summon typhoons. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? And then if you further lock your Ki, you will be able to summon an astral projection of you. Then I'll explain the fucking. There's none of that, dude. There's literally none of it. It's literally just people just showing up and just bam, super magical power, bam, super magical power, and it's just like,
yeah, the show like
what?
it kind of throws you into the deep end. It explains it as it goes. You just haven't made it to that part yet.
I think that's terrible. I think that's something that is so bad that the show needs like
not
to
do.
be like some points need to be knocked down because of that, because it's I don't know, man. There's no like universe rule setting, right? So it's literally just at some point you're just like, well, I know this dude's gonna win because he's gonna summon some magic thing, and it's like, sure enough, you know, he's like, okay, cool. I don't know what that cool magic thing was, but he fucking did it. I'm proud of him, right? And there's no explanation for it. This show has a really, really bad problem of giving motivation, explanation, and setting rules. Like it's they that even like let's talk about the devil fruit, right? Like they bring in devil fruit in this, right? So like there's at one point where, you know, he's getting set up for the fight with the commissioner, and the head of the tournament's like, hey Jin, rest up for your match tomorrow, here's some fruit, and he hands it to him. He's like, oh man, food, right? And of course the MC eats it, and like 20 minutes later he's in his apartment dying and hawking up his lung. And it's like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's gonna make him stronger. How? And then they just camera cut to 10 minutes later, and you're like, give me something here, please.
He's out here with fucking Luffy hands, bro.
Right. It's not to mention, like, okay, let's talk about my favorite boy, right? Let's talk about him. So this dude, Han, yeah. So like, let's talk about Han, right? So this dude bust out the 4 styles, right? So mind you, cool as fuck, dude. Because I love.
Oh, dude, he whooped Mita. Oh
my god, dude, that was like a backyard brawl. He beat the shit out of this poor girl. Oh my god, but. My favorite thing about him, right, is the fact that he does this in slacks, dress shoes, and some rolled up sleeves. Like this dude is like literally like in here just like knee dropping people, and it's like the best thing ever. It's so cool to watch, right? Then he busts out the 4 stances. He's like the black turtle, the phoenix or whatever, and like he never went to 4th stance. He finally goes to 4th stance in the final fight against Jin. And I think that's so cool and it's awesome, but where does it come from? Where did he learn this karate style? How is he summoning a giant blue dragon from the top of the arena to slam down on Jin? Like, where is that There's none of that. It's not there, and that's like my biggest problem with it, dude. I'm just like, where? What is this? Explain something to me, Jesus Christ! But goddamn, I'm gonna keep watching because fuck, these fights are so cool to watch, and not to mention
That's all I can
this,
say is like
dude.
it gives you the story as it goes. So if you keep watching, you'll learn where you'll answer all those questions you have.
Right, I get that, but there's still gotta be something to, like make things make sense for the time being. You can't just go into it and just like, yeah, this makes sense because here. I'm like, okay, yeah, I would have liked that 10 minutes ago though, before he did all this shit, right? I don't know. But
Also,
last thing,
go ahead,
the
go ahead.
fight with Han and Jin when they went all out and they went into the calligraphy art style.
Oh, that was so cool.
So cool. So Kenny, they have like an art style that they've been using for the entirety of the show, right? And then all of a sudden, the fight between, like it's the finals, right? It gets between, the two best friends. They're fighting each other. They're going all out, like friendships on the line, and they're like, yeah, they're into it, right? And it just completely swaps art styles, and it goes into like, like the calligraphy art, like the scrolls and shit that they do, like they practice on. They do an entire sequence where they're fighting like that, and it's in that style, like with that paper white, like background, and it's like these long calligraphy strokes, and like these dudes are fighting, and it's some of the best animation I've seen in a long time, and I'm just like, God, this looks so good, this is so epic, this is great. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that this story is complete dog shit, and they have a terrible time explaining it.
Yeah,
now, I'm gonna let you two talk about SNAFU.
Wait. Before we move on with that, like, it sounds like to me that like God of High School has a formula that they have in mind and they're sticking to it, which is you're not here really for the backstory. You're here for these fucking fights, bro. And if you're here for these fights, great. If you're here for backstory, you're not watching the right show. This is not the show for you. There is backstory. There is backstory. There is plot. There is, information to be taken outside of the ring. But I think the most important thing for this show is
fight.
You're here for some fucking fights, bro. This is action, baby. This is an action movie with some comedy, with some backstory sprinkled. This is a Fast and the Furious movie, baby. And you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it.
You're here to see cars go into space, all right?
Yeah, this is a Fast and the Furious movie. You're here for one thing, and it's got some other things. But this is what you're here for.
Main motivation and the main thing, how we get out of most of the things that we get to, is the one word: family. All right, that's it. Just family. How did you survive that car explosion? Family. Like,
how did I regain my memories? Family.
It's. I think what makes me so angry with this show, right, is because it's good. I'm not going to give it like 10 out of 10. I think it's. But I want it to be better. It can be so much better. And it has it's like, we're going to go back to Railgun, right? It has all of these ingredients. It's doing everything. It has the tools are there. Mm-hmm. They're just not using them right. And it's just making the show so much more frustrating than it needs to be, because God of High School has so much potential. It is good at bare minimum. I want it to be better. And it's not. It's just like, ugh.
I'll say this, dude. Like, the story might not satisfy you. Like I said, it answers all your questions, but it does stick to its formula. So as it goes on, you will have more questions, and you're going to be furious about that. But when it comes to the fights, dude, and the animation, it only goes up from there. Like I said, you're just short. It really takes off. That dude
delivering. Those are definitely what's carrying me through this.
That dude, Q. Did they say his name? Do you know who Q is?
I think so.
So the commissioner that he pushed down.
Yeah.
That dude's a beast.
Oh,
you will see that.
The moment he summoned Death the Kaiju and grabbed the main character and had to be restrained by 5 people in order for him to not kill him, immediately told me that this guy's a badass. I just wish I knew what the fuck. Listen, you guys want to talk shit about JoJo's, but you're making me practically watch a tournament arc with JoJo characters. These dudes are summoned in stands, and I'm like, oh, so I'm the asshole.
Yes. like that
What
meme.
shit is this?
Like the fucking meme, right? With the Chad face dude, like, yes.
Yes. But also, I'm the guy at the handle in the room, like, why are you booing me? I'm right. This is just
Well, you see,
Yeah.
you're not right.
fuck you.
So as the show progresses, dude, there's a lot more that goes on. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a spoiler.
That's fine.
Uh,
Because let's be real here, this story isn't like 10 out of 10, and I don't think it's ever gonna be. I don't think the show has the capability to do that because it's had
Just tell me how it
potential.
ends.
It
So-
had the potential to do so, but it's not.
the tournament that you're watching is one of many.
Right, because it's the prelims just for like Seoul.
Yeah. So after they do the regionals, they bring all the region winners together, and
That's dope.
and it, like I said, it only goes up from there. At the same time, the story also shows you like a bigger picture, right? A little bit more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like nebulous, right?
Okay.
You learn more of what's going on. The reason why the tournament's being held is because they're looking for something. That something is important because the people holding the tournament, they're an organization. They're the cult is also an organization looking for the same thing. And so as you go beyond the preliminaries, they also talk about those two organizations. And
Oh, yeah.
and so when you see the cult attack Q, dude, it's crazy. You're like, whoa, these kids in the tournament have no idea what they're in for.
Yeah.
Like,
I just wish they would explain things so much better because they are doing a shit job of that. All right, I'm gonna let you guys talk about SNAFU because I have not watched SNAFU really at all, and I know you guys are pretty excited about that. Or
Jess, where are you on SNAFU?
finished. What do you mean? Well, I haven't seen the most recent episode, but other than that, I'm caught up.
So the last one you saw was the prom episode.
Yeah, I seen that.
Okay.
and it's
Or
prom.
It was. I think it was after prom. It was the one about the teacher.
Okay, so like where like they go to like baseball batting cage and they're just kind of talking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so there's one more episode right after that just came out, and we can't speak on that because that's the one I texted the group where I was just like, SNAFU, bruh.
So, I was just like,
like,
next week's going to be a really good episode in terms of like wrapping in finales because a lot of these shows are finishing up. The summer 2020 season is coming to a close. A lot of shows that we are currently watching,
we're like
we're
2
talking
days
about
away from fucking fall, just in general.
Yeah. So like, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for this fall simulcast to hit because that's when, oh man, that's going to be really cool because everyone's going to be on the same page and that we're really going to be hitting strides because we're really going to be hitting shows that like nobody knows anything about, right? These shows have been out for a while, but
Some
like
of
when
them.
yeah, some of them have been out for a while, you know, but I really am looking forward to the potential of, you know, fall 2020 because we're going to be able to hit. We've already started to like crawl and get like the, you know,
In my skin.
right. Like we got the machine.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I hate you. I hate you so much. But we got this machine going. We got this podcast going, and like we're gonna be able to hit and deliver for all those new simulcast shows that come out, and I'm looking forward to that. So, last but not least, we are going to things are
hold on,
different.
hold on.
Go ahead.
Jess, I watched Haikyu. I
Boy.
watched it. Huh?
I said, yeah, boy.
Yeah, I watched Haikyu up it like and no spoilerinos. I just watched them play against what's their name? Shiratori Kazawa? Yeah. I just watched them play that set. I watched the final set. That whole season basically, because that whole season's named Karasuno versus Shiratori Kazawa. I can't remember their full name. I can't remember their full name.
But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I just watched I just finished watching that season
whole arc.
there. And I was just like, God damn, man. Talk about peak sports anime, dude. Like,
You guys are getting me so interested in watching that. I had to get that curiosity. The pacing, like early Haikyu, it was pretty slow. So that's why like I don't know. Like I had like a lot of slow burner animes at that point, right, to pick from. So I just picked one, and for me it was God of High School because I was like, you know what, this one's a shorter watch. I'll work my way to Haikyu.
so let me tell you, dude. It's just like it's them leveling up and playing tournaments. That's literally the whole thing, and it's fucking great. Like the characters,
I can't wait. Oh god, I
all
love
the
tournaments so
characters,
much.
the characters develop really in really interesting ways. They're utilized in interesting ways.
Jazz,
They
What's
just
up?
do shit, man. It's great.
Rena girlfriend.
We can't even talk about Rena
We
Grover
can't.
because he
I
hasn't
just
watched the
let-
latest one.
I'm letting you know.
That latest one, Jazz. The latest episode.
It brought us back. It, like we're
I've
in it.
I
we're
never
in it again, baby. We're in it again. They had two flops, and they just
never had a doubt in my mind. I was never in doubt. I never left. I was always on this ship, baby.
Always.
I never jumped off the ferry, baby. I
tell
stayed
you.
on.
But yeah, Kenny, back on Haikyu, whenever they go to nationals, dude. And I know I said this before, but since you're dude,
Ashten, dude.
what's up?
They go to
Ashten
nationals.
hasn't watched it.
Oh, I mean, I've been telling you guys to watch this for years, so that's not
Right.
your fault.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Ashten.
They go to
It's still
nationals.
it's still worth watching.
They go to nationals, my boy.
It's still worth watching.
I brought this up before, but go ahead, Kenny. What were you
No,
saying?
I was just gonna tell Ashton it's still worth watching because everything that leads up to it is fucking insane. Like it's really cool. It's really intense. Like I was like hugging my pillow. I was like, oh my god, oh no, oh my god, are they gonna do it? No, they've tied it again. Damn it, for the millionth time. But yeah, go on, Jazz.
Like I said, it's something that I brought up before, and this is just a little more emphasis. It's kind of in the same sense that where Ash left off on God of High School, it really takes off, right? When they make it to nationals, dude, the show like it only goes up from there.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I reached that point with God of High School. Like it's still, I still hate it, but at the same time, like I like it because like there are things there and it works. Now we're gonna go ahead and quickly do this next segment. It's getting about time for us to wrap up. So this week's for simulcast, we're actually very much rounding and closing up, finishing the entire list for summer 2020. So we have a little bit of a twist. The twist is we get to pick one retro anime that isn't a simulcast that we want the others to watch. And
Okay, again,
along with
retro's a stretch.
retro's a stretch.
Non-simulcast.
It's a non-simulcast and one simulcast.
Correct. So the simulcast that, let's see here, the simulcast.
Uh-oh. Goodbye, Ashton. You completely ruined. Goodbye, Ashton.
I hate it, dude. I died. I have of just like when I click the other room, it'll take me to that channel list, and I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid that I'm ruining your recording, Skinny.
No. It was just really funny because like I'm just sitting here and then I just see OBS just completely shit the bed. I'm like, where did Ashton go?
All right. So let me go ahead and start with.
I may not edit. I'm not editing.
Yeah,
Don't
leave
edit.
it. Leave it.
No,
I'm
don't edit that out. You
leaving
leave
that
that in. Don't. You got to leave that in. So the simulcast that I picked.
Wait, real quick.
Yes,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
If you're watching this, or if you're just listening to this, if you did not put this on the video on YouTube, you gotta watch the YouTube video of this because the way
everything just went to garbage.
the way this shit broke.
The abrupt cutoff, the OBS freaking out, them going whoa.
It wasn't even
It's
OBS.
funny that Ash was speaking at the time. He's literally like mid sentence and just all of a sudden gone.
It's just gone. Yeah, he just got smited by Zeus, dude.
Yeah, I got railgunned, bro. I got
Yeah, you
railgunned.
really did get Railgun.
Okay, so the simulcast series that I picked was ReZero, and the non-simulcast show that I finally picked for these boys. I put a gun to their heads. I'm finally making them do it. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'm specifically picking part 4 for all the JoJo fans that hate me and were like, "Oh, you can't part skip. You got to start from OG1." Dude, listen, there's no way in hell I'm going to get them to watch JoJo's. So listen, I'm just going to go ahead and shoot my favorite one, which is part 4, and see if they stick around just to maybe even watch one part. So I'm putting all my eggs in the baskets. My boy Josuke, don't let me down. Deliver these boys to a good series, and hopefully they like it. So
Deliver them to the promised land.
Deliver them to the promised land. I'm
trying to
picking
get it.
JoJo's Part 4. Diamonds are unbreakable.
You're trying to get a triple kill collat, right? That's what you're trying.
Yeah. Oh, baby, a triple.
You're trying to get that collat.
I'm trying. Now, let's see here.
One
Jazz
bullet.
Jazz had picked Dr. Stone and the Ascendance of a Bookworm. And finally, Kenny's wrapping it up with Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai and Mr. Love. So, I need to number these actually. I haven't done that part yet. It would help if I did, that
If you
section
did a
off.
Job.
If I did, if I did the job of being a good host.
If you stayed on Discord, if you
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put JoJo's. So I'm gonna put ReZero.
He's sandbagging. Reported.
Look, real
I'm
quick,
the roommate.
Jazz, while he does
What's up,
this,
dude?
pitch to me Dr. Stone. What is it that you enjoyed watching Dr. Stone? Like
Dr. Stone is it's scientifically accurate. I think that's something that most animes don't do.
That's a big deal for you. That's huge for you, actually.
Yeah, honestly, because I'm the first one to say like, that's not realistic.
Yeah, exactly.
Superpowers? Nah.
Yeah, for anime, fuck that. I can't. No. I understand.
Yeah, basically. Oh, it's still so they finished the first season, but it's still not explained what happened. They're still trying to uncover that. But basically, the whole world was kind of turned to stone, and then I think 3,000 years later or something. I don't remember the exact time frame, but a lot of years later, they started coming out of the stone, the select few, and he, being the science prodigy that he is, he learns what reverses the stone effect. And so of course you need the resources for that. So like picture a world with only nature. You kind of have to make your own way. In a sense, it's like Minecraft, but you don't play Minecraft, so that doesn't really help you much. But
I know Minecraft though. I know Minecraft.
You're thrown into a world without people. Everything else is still normal. You're thrown into a world without people. You have no like cars, buildings, like that kind of stuff. You have to find your own resources. And he learns what reverses the stone effect. And so he's limited on it, but he keeps producing it so that he can get more people out of there. Along the way, well, this goes into the story, so I can't really tell you.
Yeah,
much.
don't tell the story. Just
like enough to hook. Enough to hook.
Yeah. Like, because for example, for me, the reason I chose Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. First of all, when I read the title, I've seen like scrolling through like Crunchyroll. I've seen this title a million times. It's a girl and a bunny girl. It's a girl in a bunny girl costume in the poster. So I like me looking at that. I'm just like, no, that doesn't sound interesting. So Maze, I talked to Maze, which is Jazz's brother, to anyone that doesn't know. He watches a lot of anime, and I asked him to like recommend me like 3 or 4 anime, and one of those was that one. And I was like, okay, if Maze is recommending this, right? He's not an Ashten. He doesn't watch any anime, right? I'm gonna give it a shot. So I did. I gave it a shot, and it's fucking phenomenal, guy. I don't know how to tell you guys this. It's of all the recent anime I've seen, it's probably my favorite one that I've watched of like recent anime, right? Like I think the closest one was like the close contenders are SNAFU and Haikyu. Like those are the close contenders for me. And like Bunny Girl Senpai, it's up there. It has like
You're setting a really high bar, Kenny.
it has a very good season, and then it has like a movie / extra episode.
OVA type situation.
Well, yeah, well, it's like a movie, but it's like the final episode basically.
I gotcha. Okay, so they extended. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, but it's like a fucking movie. It's literally a movie, and
Gotcha.
it's like oh, it's just like oh, I'm gonna go fucking cry in bed and listen to Mayday Parade now that I've finished this show.
Jeez.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
I remember watching Code Geass.
So
It
I
like that.
I picked the two.
And Bunny Girl Senpai, it really just wasn't what I expected. Like I thought it would be one thing, and it was completely something else, and that completely something else was like perfectly executed, in my opinion.
So I picked ReZero and JoJo's Part 4 specifically because, in my opinion, right, like knowing that they would start at Part 1 and 2, there's no way in hell they would ever like the series, right? Now, when stands are introduced in JoJo's in Part 3, that's really when the series like picks up. I'm not saying that Part 1 and 2 are bad, right? But compared to like 3, 4, 5, you know, it's the stands really like are a game changer, and Araki, the creator, really just like runs with it, right? And Part 4 is really cool because Part 3 was like this global thing, right? It was based off of Around the World in 80 Days, right? And then granted, he like really had that big global scale. It was a little too much to deal with. So in this one, he limited the entire series or this entire like season in one town. And it's a murder mystery. And not on top of that being a murder mystery, right? He's been working with stands for all of Part 3, and he's even getting more creative with them. And I feel like this is the point where like the stands are really creative. They're not super broken yet. Like there are still a few ones that are like, okay, like what? But this is the part where he really like, has like some really cool ideas with them. Josuke is my favorite JoJo. He's got the coolest stand. The characters are really cool. And not only that, but like you can watch Part 4, Part 5, Part 3, Part 2, and Part 1 without watching any of the other parts. But if you watch them in order, obviously like it's going to enhance the experience because they reference people from other parts and yada, yada, yada. So I totally recommend Part 4 just because it's got one of the coolest villains, coolest stand powers. And I hope that in these first 2 episodes, they might fall in and maybe even just give it a couple more episodes. And if I can get them that, then I feel like that's a win. So the random number generator has generated the numbers for 2 being JoJo's, 5 being ReZero, 1 being Dr. Stone, 6 being Bookworm, 4 being Bunny Girl Senpai, and 3 being Mr. Love. So I'm going to go ahead and roll this dice, and we're going to find out what it is. Jazz,
All right.
be happy. Dr. Stone was rolled for anime number 1.
All right, let's go.
As everyone can see here, anime number 1 is going to be Dr. Stone for next week. And then, so that means, Jazz, if we do roll Bookworm, we are going to go ahead and re-roll. That way we don't have 2 of your animes for 1 week. We learned the very hard way for that rule. Let's go ahead and roll again.
It only took 1 arc.
Yo, let's go, dude! We got JoJo's!
Can't wait to watch Dr. Stone.
Let's go! Let's go, baby! Insane luck. We sniped him. We got him, boys.
Can't wait to watch Dr. Stone.
Oh boy.
All right, you can stop streaming.
All right.
Because I just broke this whole thing again.
Cool. I'm glad to see that.
We're back. We're back and better than we are.
We're back and better than ever.
Yeah. We do this shit live, man. We like sometimes I'm just like, fuck, I completely forgot that we have to
the opportunity.
I don't have that scene in this OBS, right?
We need to do that. We need to set that up.
Well, it would be hard because like if I want to show a stream, right? Like if you immediately start streaming and then I switch over to that scene, one of the scenes are gonna be broken regardless. So
yeah,
I don't have that production value here yet. Yeah,
so
we'll get there. I'll figure it out.
I'm excited to watch Dr. Stone. Jazz has really when I first moved in, or when he first moved into the house Wait,
whoa.
we're gonna have to. That's more work for you, Kenny. That's a bleep. Yeah.
That's a bleep.
Well, when we first became roommates, he was watching that and was really recommending it to me, and he kept recommending it to me. Haikyu and Dr. Stone, as well as God of High School. He recommended a lot of really good animes to me. I'm
No,
not gonna lie.
God.
Tower of God, that's right. He recommended Tower of God. We watched a lot of those episodes. I don't know why I haven't continued it. Well, the podcast really. So that was. I'm looking forward to Dr. Stone. He's hyped it up a pretty good amount.
I like it.
I hope Bunny Girl Senpai is last, because that shit
Dude,
goes hard.
I'm actually really excited. I'm glad that you put Bunny Girl Senpai on here, because had you not,
really
I would have
good.
just watched it on my own.
It's really good, dude. It's fucking amazing, and I know that when we get to it, I'm gonna just rewatch the whole thing. Like,
Oh wow,
yeah, like as soon as we get to it.
I hope it's
Boom.
good, because I might not watch it.
That's fine, because I'm not watching
It doesn't take away
JoJo's.
it doesn't. Oh wow.
I'm just gonna be sitting here during that segment, like, yeah, I didn't watch it. Fuck that.
No, but I hope you guys have a good time with it. I really do.
Right.
I'm gonna have. I'm looking forward to Dr. Stone too. The art style is a little bit weird, but I feel like I hear it's got a weird redeeming quality to it. Joe, you know what's interesting? Next week is gonna be the episode of interesting art styles. We're just gonna throw that out there.
Next week's gonna be, more importantly, about Rent a Girlfriend and SNAFU finales.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a hype episode. We'll definitely love to see you guys there.
Guys,
Thank you so much.
Make sure to watch those episodes. Like,
Of course, dude.
I watched-
Rent a Girlfriend and SNAFU are like top of my list right now. Aside from Haikyu, of course, they're the top of my list.
If you have somehow made it this far into this podcast and you have not watched those series, I don't know what is wrong with you. You need to go watch those series. That is like literally the top.
SNAFU.
These
Watch
are.
Haikyu.
I can definitely speak on behalf of Rent a Girlfriend. Like that is like the simulcast of this season to watch. All right, have a good one, guys. Thank you so much. This is Ashten signing off with my two co-hosts, Jazz and Kenny.
Woo!
Thanks again. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Punks, go watch Rent a Girlfriend.
Please.
And Haikyu.
Of course.